Hello, Yeti Nation. Take two, in case you didn't know.
Take
One
two.
for me and one for you. Take two.
So we did the first one, and somehow, unbelievably, I could not hear. Well, I could hear Paul, but it was not going out into the YouTube land for. But a quick little restart of that fixed everything, no problem. So now we're back up and live. And as we were talking about before, this first game with the Bandits and the Thunderbirds, what a game! And when you watched it at the beginning, you know, Buffalo came out 3 goals. Ian McKay had a hat trick in the first quarter. You're like, wow, and he has been on fire for this team. But then second quarter comes around and Halifax outscores them 5-1.
Yeah, it was Rochester jumped out, and like I said, it was the second part where I got caught into the game, and Rochester was just pounding them, and again, then it got into a defensive. They were ripping shots left and right, Final score was it 10-9?
Yeah,
Something like that.
10-9, and it came down to the fourth quarter. They were all tied up going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Buffalo was able to get 2 goals. Halifax was only able to get one. Matty Vince, and you look at the shots on goal. They were pretty evenly matched. You had 51 shots for Buffalo. Halifax had 52. So I mean, but when you're talking about these,
what did Stats end up with that game? I mean,
Randy,
he was on fire too. Randy Stats is definitely
he had 3 assists.
Jammer, 3 assists and a couple goals, didn't he?
He had 2. Yeah, he had 5 points total.
5 points, so 3. In those 2 goals, 2 were outstanding goals, and they got him playing defense. He's a defender. And we talk about, you and I and many of our talks of how the defenders are able to get up and get going at it. And, there you go. That's the same thing with Thompson, Lyle. Well, I don't know which one's the defender.
Jeremy Thompson plays for
Jeremy.
face-off guy.
Again, he clearly could be on offense on any team throughout the country, but he's a team player, and what do you do for the team? You go where the team needs you.
Yeah.
But I'll get jumping all over the place.
Oh yeah, but so when you look
at focus, focus.
But when we look back at this first game there, so right in the fourth quarter, you see the 2 goals for Buffalo, and there's no surprise there. You got Nana Coke and Dane Smith. Dane really has put the team on his back. I've talked about this with so many people before. Is Buffalo's defense? They can score their transition. Weiss, McKay gets up the floor. Everybody for Buffalo seems to score, and I think that's such a huge difference for them. I mean, Nick Weiss, he's your transition guy. He had 2 goals. He only took 2 shots.
Yep.
Yeah. He's that's a big thing, and then you've got Matty Vince in the pipes. And what this really did though is, I mean, Philadelphia had a great weekend. This hurt Halifax. This loss was, I mean, and they're going to play them again. They've got a chance to redeem themselves tomorrow. I mean, they might, Dumb and Dumber us and totally redeem themselves, but I don't know if they can beat Buffalo. Buffalo has been on point. It's been a very tough game for so many teams, and it'll be, I think they have to if they want to be a contender, because they're going to have to get past him to get through the East anyway. So, they're going to have to prove they can beat them.
If you're going to play with the big dogs, you got to beat the big dogs. One way or the other, you got to beat them.
Speaking of which, all of a sudden Philadelphia has come alive, and now when we look at this Philadelphia-New York game, I mean, New York is spurty and they're spotty. We watched this game live. We did our first ever watch party. What a blast that was.
That was good. That was a good one. I didn't realize it was going to take that long, and I got a full day out of it.
Yeah. So, and yeah, we've got Bank City transition game makes a huge difference, and that really is the biggest difference, as you see with these who can get up and down the floor is that's what it is. All of these teams' offenses, you can expect to get 8 goals a game. It's those couple extra goals that put you over the top, that 9, 10, 11. But if you see Philadelphia, their offense has absolutely come alive ever since they got Mitch Jones down there, and you see he went absolutely off against New York.
Yes, he did. I'm trying to. Sorry about that.
All good, but we know the audio's working this time.
Now we're working.
Yeah.
As far as that game went again, they were getting the rubber was going past the goalie.
Yeah.
They were getting the shots on. Everything they were putting on was
Yes,
not to
Orleman did
say
not have a great
everything.
game, but Higgins, I tell you,
No,
Higgins has quietly become, he's got himself in contention for goaltender of the year if he can stay this hot because he played really good. New York did have a ton of offense, and even though when you watch that game, it did not feel like it was that big of a blowout. New York kept getting on the boards.
it,
They broke it up here and there. They just never seemed to be able to, completely close the gap. But, I mean, Mitch Jones had an amazing game. Blaze Reardon, as we've talked about, wow, is he on fire? Terrace is moving the ball around when he's not scoring. He had so many points in the next game. I mean, he has been he's looking like Terrace from old, and that's one thing you see now that he's on a team that's got a lot of offensive help. It shows he can move the ball around.
it showed. And physical game, as far as those guys ain't no slouches to get into it.
Those guys,
Rambo,
yeah,
Rambo, I believe, played at Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. He was like one of the all time Maryland players at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And is he from Canada? I don't know, but look what he's doing now. They're coming in. They're playing good ball,
yeah. No,
team ball, good team ball.
he did go to
The goalie,
Maryland
goalie stud. He
2017.
did 17. It was,
Yeah,
yeah. And as far as the transition between the two games, once again, is pretty cool. I love
yeah,
it.
it is. Now let's talk about your Vegas Desert Dogs. They ended up losing in that first ever outdoor game, but wow, what a
But
game it
Birdie
was!
was a game.
Yeah,
That was a
big,
pretty cool game.
huge props to the 315. I mean, he as you see right there, he had a hat trick. He was really on point. But they just didn't quite have enough. Curtis Dixon, Owen must have been so stoked watching this game. I've had a chance to talk to him a little bit. That was a wicked cool game to watch. That was really neat to see it. I like that they had drones out there filming the game. It seemed like, or maybe some high angle wide. They had some really cool views of the game. I thought that was just so impressive with what they did. But yeah, Bertrand with the hat trick. Dixon with 6 assists, and he had a hat trick as well. The San Diego spread out their offense pretty well. I think this was a good game for Vegas. Yes, they did lose, and I mean it's obviously not the game they wanted, but they were in that game, and it was they've proved that they can. They need a little, their offense wasn't quite up to the
It didn't.
task, but
It didn't come to play. As far as where was Greer, Greer should be one of the top dogs on every game. You got to, if you're going to be the best, I guess you got to show up to play every single game.
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and when you watch this game, as you're watching it, every quarter was so close. And like when Jack Hanna scores at the end on the power play, and you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, Vegas is coming. They're gonna win. And
They're
then
going to
he,
make a run at this.
boom,
Yeah,
immediately into the next, same thing, and he's up and he's ready to go. But then all of a sudden, they had that 5 goal run that they just weren't able to stop. I mean, Westberg went off. He had a goal that ended up, I think they called one back from two earlier in the game, if I remember correctly. But Westberg and Dixon, just that whole, they're such a cohesive. It's funny, most of these guys played in Calgary, but
right.
they've all kind of migrated to warmer weather in hopes of getting a championship, run, and some of them chasing a little bit more money. But wow. And this Vegas team, I tell you, they proved that they're they're legit and they can, but they just needed to either stop that run, get a little more offense, or you got to clamp down. And if you're going to play those style games where you're only going to get 12 goals, now you're talking about a whole different style to make sure you get a team down to 8, 9 goals, and that's a hard thing to do in the NLL. You really need your goalie to play great, and Kells really did play good. He
Yeah,
just didn't play
yeah.
great was the problem. And you need, if you're going to keep a team, Matty Vince style, you got to have a Ryan Hartley night where you're just completely shutting everybody down. Zach Higgins has been playing like that lately for Philly, and you see it. I mean, we all like to talk about the offense, and they put up 19 goals, so yes, that makes them look good. But the game against Toronto was not that style game at all, and we'll get to that one here in
Yeah.
a couple minutes. But yeah, that outdoor game.
What were the shots on goal for the Vegas game there?
Well, I'm just looking right now. So they ended up pulling Shigliano and put in a Riglieri, and so Shigliano had 30 saves and a Riglieri had 2 saves. But the shots on goal, I got to scroll back up here. So it was 30 and 38 saves, but 43 shots on goal for Vegas and 53 for San Diego. And in the face-offs, so Vegas, they took 22 of the face-offs. Usually you think with that, but it really, it comes down to the loose ball battles and the offensive rebounds. And that was one thing is San Diego got a lot of extra possessions on offense.
Yep. It definitely is. It's a different element being outside. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was cool. What'd you think of the yellow helmets and everything? It was bright. I loved the way they did outdoors. It looked cool. I love seeing them playing in the portable rink too. That was just so cool because it's what everybody does.
There was a meme out there, Mimi, whatever it's called, where the photographers in the corner doing some filming, and all of a sudden they came into the corner and the
knocks him right off the ladder. Yeah,
and the one flying off the ladder. I'm like, oh, hey, that's what it's all about. He got the best shot, and probably some of the best tweets on the internet about it.
Yeah, I actually didn't see any of those, but I did watch it, and I watched it happen, and then they scored on that too. So they came down, he knocks the guy over, they get the loose ball, fires it down, they get the transition goal, and I was laughing because yes, we even got Kiefer in the comments, Bank City, he died laughing because we all saw it, and then when they showed the replay, I couldn't believe they didn't show the poor guy getting knocked off. They were just like kind of glossed over it, and I was like, that's all part of the portable rink and everything. That was such a cool experience out there.
You see the walls shift a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of body hitting them walls, and they shifted.
yeah, they did. That is these guys are huge and they're fast, and it's a whole different thing.
Boys,
but as we look to the top of the East, Rochester lost to Toronto, and Toronto getting the one win. They ended up losing afterwards, but they got the win, which moved them up. So now Buffalo's sitting in the sole spot in 10. We'll look at the standings here in a couple minutes to make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure that's how it broke down. And you saw Rochester, they did not get the offensive production that you expect out of Rochester, but neither did Toronto. But, I mean, if you go into a game and you say, with the Rochester offense, with Hogarth, Smith, Connor Fields up there, and you're like, okay, guys, we're going to keep them under 10 goals. You got to feel confident you're going to win that game for both of these teams. And to watch a 9-8 game, I mean, Nick Rose and Ryan Hartley, did you guys have they were the stars of that game, that's for sure.
No question. In the outlets, boom, they were hitting the outlet passes.
Yeah,
right off. Save to the outlet, and they had to be quick out the back door. That's for sure.
Yeah, Nick Rose kind of did not start off great at the beginning of the year. He had a couple rough games, but the coach stuck with him, and they all, the team obviously stuck with him. They know what he's capable of, and that's where I always say when you see these teams starting to pull goalies and you mess with their head a little bit, and it's like, is it really the right thing? But they held. You look at the game leaders, and with all the offense that's out there, it's hard to believe nobody got a hat trick in that game.
Right.
I mean, you've got some of the best offensive players in the game all out there. I mean, Tom Schreiber, Connor Fields,
I was
Keogh.
trying to think of what is it.
Yeah.
He was held to what, 2 at the end?
Yeah.
Schreiber was?
He had 3 assists, and I tell you that both of these teams, and that's what it takes to win championships. So is you need a defense. But yeah, that Hartley 56 saves. That game could have been. That game could have easily gone way farther Toronto's way. Like when you look, I mean, I want to see how many shots on goal Schreiber had actually, because I felt like he was shooting all the time and just did not seem to be able to.
There was a lot of soakers. There was definitely some bruises on some guys' legs because they were definitely soaking up some shots. And he was silent. Like you said, he may have been shooting, but they weren't getting through
20 shots
until
almost 19 shots on goal.
And his first goal was what?
His only goal
left in the game.
His only goal.
Only goal. it had to be around what 4 minutes in the game. It
Uh,
wasn't too.
yeah.
It was the fourth period and getting late into the fourth period. And I was like, holy sugar. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
think Philly was happy to get out of there because Toronto was catching a second wind and the wave was coming and Philly got the boat docked before the wave hit.
Yeah, that's the
sure.
next game. We're still talking about the Rochester game, but when you look at so like
Oh yeah, that one too.
but when you look through Toronto's offense, all the guys that you expect to see with lots of with their usual goal scorers, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Craig was able to get on the board twice. He seemed to have his number down on that strong righty side, and he would tuck in, and he was able to cut across a couple times. But other than that, I mean, credit to Hartley. He played amazing. Latrell Harris was not able. He got an assist, but he's usually gets up the floor for a goal or two. He's still one of my favorite players to watch. 93 for Toronto. He is something special. But Nick Rose, 46 saves.
46. Yeah, that's good stuff. That is good stuff.
Yeah. So, all right. Where I'm trying to see where he scored.
Well, I'm thinking of Monday's game as far as Schreiber.
Oh, okay. You were thinking of Monday's game.
That's what I was thinking Monday's game, and I wasn't paying attention to where you got it on
Yeah.
the top side there.
Yeah, no, I was like, because I thought he scored in the first quarter, but I was like, I get a little crazy sometimes. I've been wrong once or twice in my life.
You got Necker on internet. It's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, in this game, and this was close all the way through, and then Rochester was actually up for a while, and it really, I thought, oh my goodness, here we go. But yeah, Toronto just able to come back, and Schreiber had a lot of assists. He moves the ball really well, but it just, like I said, to have 20 shots. Ryan Hartley, wow, 20 shots from Tom Schreiber, one of the best shooters in the league, and to 19 actually, but to have 18 saves out of that is just wow. I don't even know what to say. It's just crazy.
It's good goaltending. It's good studying of the shooters, baiting the shooters where you want to put them, and again, good defense, putting the guy in the area that the goalie wants him to shoot at, not being slammed on. Those are.
Yeah.
I did not watch that game, so that one.
That's why I jumped to the next one now for you. So we went right into the Philly one.
My study is ready to rock and roll again.
All right. Yeah, wow, what a game that was. And to hold Toronto scoreless, their offense, they got to kind of figure some things out, you would think. But, I mean, they did at the end of the game. They, like you said, they caught a second win, and they really seemed to be coming on. But to hold them scoreless, this Philly defense is, I tell you, they're playing good.
Yeah, they're solid defense, and again, solid goaltending.
Zach Higgins, though.
You got Baptiste. Usually doing a pretty good job on the face-offs.
Yeah, so they took 16 to 25 face-offs, but when you look at the shots on goal there, Toronto took 65 shots. Wow. Crazy. Zach Higgins. When I was watching that game, that's all I was thinking is I was like, Higgins. And then
because he kept on, it would hit a post, reset, another post, reset, another post, reset. There was quite a few of them, goalie save. It gets the rebound, reset. It's like, wow.
Yeah,
it was a good game.
It was. Ben McIntosh had a great game. He's a beast. He's a big fella out there. You see him throwing himself around, but he's got the soft hand, so he's up top. Recitarus really coming in on that side. That left side, I tell you, they are fire. They are moving the ball around well. And so Philly is done, like you see, they only had 32 shots, and you'd be like, that's not very many shots, but they pass it around. They take a few extra. They're more likely to take that extra pass than take the outside shot, it seems. With all that offense, they move it well, which is funny too because they've got some monster shooters. But I think part of that is when you've got Blaze Reardon down on the inside, he's such a big body with such soft hands that he picks up those rebounds fast, and he's all over it. He played
He's going air. Air Blaze. I mean, well, he's got to go at least 225, 245.
he's all there. He's definitely all there.
Of that.
Yeah.
And to body that up, And now you throw a double in off the pick. It's a matter of getting to the top side. He got to the top side on a couple of those goals, and boom,
Yeah.
had him on the top side. Couple rippers, air blaze. He ain't no joke.
No, he is he's really good, and like I said, Dan Craig, he's been getting on the board for Toronto. Latrell Harris was able to get on that transition. Toronto's offense, like I said, they were shooting. Were they bad shots? No, it wasn't like a ton of them were just hitting Higgins in the chest. He was picking them all over the place. He is on point right now. He's seeing the ball really well, and he at Rose had 60 something saves the game before, but then in this one, when you look at it, 32 shots on goal, and they beat him, 11. So it's like they beat him by 1 goal. So it's tough. Rick Rose, maybe didn't play great at the beginning, came on really well further down the game, but a lot of that too was the Wings kind of weren't getting the shots. Like you said, it really seemed like if that game had another quarter, Toronto was going to win. They started slow,
Toronto
but
was,
then Toronto was, Schreiber was coming on at the end there, and the offense really seemed to start clicking. And Toronto's obviously hoping that that's going to continue forward because losing to Philadelphia in there has made things very, very interesting in the East because it seemed like those guys were really going to run away with it. When you when
yeah.
you looked at Rochester, Toronto, and Buffalo, is it was like, oh boy, here we go. Nobody else is going to have a shot. We could battle for the fourth place. Who's going to play Buffalo in the first round?
Yep. Yep. That was which leads I know it's still a couple of weeks away, but that Rochester Albany game is going to be huge. I'm excited to be we're going to be at that on the 8th of
April 8th.
April.
Yeah, I definitely know
Yeah.
what day it is because it's my son's 16th birthday, which is the only reason I'm not going. I really wish I was going, but obviously you only get one 16th birthday, and he does not want to spend it in a box lacrosse rink, but it is what it is.
It
And
is what it is.
I tell you,
And
that
it's beauty.
talking about Albany though, how about that Firewolves game? I tell you, it
Woo!
wasn't the result we wanted, but honestly, as a fan, when I go to the game, I want to see
As a
good
fan,
box
they saved
lacrosse.
they saved face for the week before. That's for damn sure. Wasn't it the week before they got smacked
Yeah,
20?
so they've had two offensive shellackings that they've taken, I would like to call it, but they were considerate enough to make sure that they were both away from home, so all of their fans did not have to watch it. So thank you very much, Albany Firewolves, for that, because I would have been a
Yeah,
little
that's a hard
upset.
one. Yeah, that's a hard one to walk out of. Geez.
Yeah. And I tell you, this one, that fourth quarter when Albany came, I thought for sure we were winning the game. I was like, let's go. We got this. We came on good. But I tell you, Dougie, Georgia shot all over the place. I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I thought it was a bit of a return from the Dougie of old, where you saw he was a lot more active, 62.
Sure, yeah, he had a real good game, no
Yeah.
question, no question. It's
But
the outside though.
yeah,
It's the outside. He's getting beat on the outside shot. It's not the inside shot. It's not the middle shot. It's the outside shot that are killing him, killing him.
it's
Because he's getting and you can hear the ball hitting the pad, or just watching the replays. It's like, man, he was there, but just a half a split second behind, and boom, it's off his pad and in because he was just a split second not there.
split second
That's an
behind
out
or
that time.
split
Yeah,
second back into the crease instead of stopping out. But I mean, Lyle Thompson, I tell you, that was cool too to get to watch one of the legends score right in front of me. I was a little, like I said, I was bummed out when it happened, but it was, if I'm gonna watch us getting beat by a legend like Lyle's not really that, you know. I've seen a lot worse things in my life than sitting there
you've seen a
watching
lot
Lyle
worse.
Thompson
Exactly,
score a goal like
exactly.
that. So it was a incredible game. They did the Native American Heritage Night, which was pretty
I
good.
seen Chris Thomas, the dancers.
Yes,
Was that his little daughter that he had out there with
I
him
believe
again?
so. They had a couple little kids out there who were amazing.
Yes,
They showed us a smoke dance, then they showed a couple
yes.
different dances, and that was awesome. They explained the smoke dance. Honestly, I thought they did an amazing job. They had great jerseys. They auctioned everything off, gave it all to some different charities. They did great. The only I will complain about this one thing, not that anybody's going to care, but I do wish they had played the Haudenosaunee national anthem.
Oh,
on
they
that
didn't.
night. No, they did not. That would have been cool. I think a lot of people would have liked to hear it. The first time I went to a Yeti game and heard it, I was like, "Oh, all right."
It's emotional.
It is,
Yeah,
and especially with that many Native American players on the field, like you can see the energy it gives to them, and when you start hearing them, hooting and hollering at the end there, it's like, oh yeah, it was cool the first time. I wish they had done it there, maybe next year, but like I said, they did a much better job this year than they did the year before. Each year's growing. They really went out of their way. Like last year, it was kind of like last minute. It seemed like, oh hey, buy an orange T-shirt. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. Whereas this year
right.
they really went above and beyond with the jerseys and everything else. But
The whole celebration. Chris Thomas does a beautiful job. I had tears in my eyes. He came to our youth program last year, him and his daughter, and did a couple smoke dances. Allowed the kids to get involved with it. The interaction, great stuff. Great stuff. It's
yeah,
great to bring the history, the traditions into the. That's what's I don't know. That's what makes the sport so special. Is there's a it's more than just a
it's more
sport.
just sport.
You know,
It's
it's more than just a sport.
yeah.
That's the awesome thing.
Yeah.
That's the awesome thing.
So I think so. Q has been on a tear against Albany. I'm pretty sure Andrew Q has more goals against Albany this year than he scored for Albany all last season. I don't think that's an actual stat, but that's the stat I'm running with to everybody because he is definitely playing much better in Georgia this year than he did, I think, for Albany. He's really, I tell you, I've been impressed with his the
Oh,
way he's.
gee, you said 2 seconds ago it doesn't hurt to play around legends of the game. I
Yeah,
mean,
that.
gee, it might increase your stats just a little bit.
Yeah, it
But
definitely. Yeah.
Bomberry's a beast too.
Bombear, he's a monster of a kid. He is
Yeah,
absolutely huge. He plays the game the right way. And I tell you, that offense, now that they're starting to come on, honestly, what's been holding them back has been they got a little shaky goalie start when Dobson first started. He seems to have found his way now. Granted, I will say he found his way against the Firewolves, who are not the most potent offense in the bunch. They do pretty well, but I mean, you looked at their offense and you knew they were going to get it together at some point. Shane Jackson's starting to look like the Shane Jackson of old. Lyle is starting to move the ball around well. I think having Bomberry up there, having that big bodied guy, like you just the way he sets the picks for Lyle and like everything, the way they play together was yeah, it's really coming together. That was a great, setup. It's awesome that it worked out. He's there with them because he is playing amazing.
yeah. It was a good game to watch. It really was actually. Sorry, I'm definitely an Albany fan. I like the Albany concept. It's
It,
they're getting closer.
you're
They're
getting
getting
closer.
closer.
Like I
I
said
mean,
though, I don't
Kelly was on fire.
yeah.
Those guys they got all the play that you can get out of them. I mean, what more can't you do?
Yeah.
Those
No,
guys
I
were
we're
running
starting
hard.
to see some good things out of our offense. So Connor Kelly had a big offensive game. So our younger offensive guys are really starting to kind of come around. Heine was starting to shoot a little more. He almost had that dunk, which would have been absolutely legendary. I think he just needs to. Uh, he's like waiting for other people to be more active in the offense. It almost feels like he's like looking farther into it than quite they're ready for yet. They've got a lot of field players that they're turning into box players, and they'll get there because
We'll get there.
yeah, it's
It's, the chemistry is going to come. I mean, more they play together. A lot of the guys probably
yeah.
haven't played much together. In
No, and that
they're on
so
week
Jackson
12
Nish,
now.
yeah, we had that Jackson Nishimura. He's one of our young defensemen, and he is usually super. Like he is still super athletic, but you could tell when he got hurt, that was a tough. It was a tough down, and that was a very opening face off. But I tell you,
Very well,
Sturos
yeah.
got up the floor. The rest of the defense actually looked, they looked more like Albany does, which is a heavy defense, fast transition style, which is my favorite style to watch. It's one of my favorite things about the Yeti. I love nothing more than watching like one of them big Yeti defensemen come flying down. Like when Snow comes down and drops the shoulder, or Versace comes down and drops the shoulder. That just does something for the offense. Even if they don't shoot, just coming down and like dropping their shoulder and then hitting the offensive guy or shooting and then just like somebody else, following I don't know. There's just something
Ro-
to it. For the emotional goal, there's nothing like a D transition
Physical,
goal.
bumping, nothing like bumping hips.
No.
And that's the medicine I've found. I don't know. It's energized me. I got fired up with this box lacrosse game. It's awesome.
Look what it's done. I mean, it's caught me by storm. Here we are. Yeah. We are now
Yeah,
we're running shows
yeah.
here.
And now I'm lucky enough to have ran into Greg Beach by being at a box lacrosse game.
Yeah.
Craziness.
It's crazy. So when we look at this next game, Saskatchewan all of a sudden is starting to find themselves. They came out a little slow, then they kind of seemed like they fixed it, but then all of a sudden they dropped off. And I mean that's not a knock on Panther City. They've been playing great. I expected Saskatchewan to do a little better in this game, but in the fourth quarter, as you watch this game, it just all of a sudden, boom, they turned it on. Will Malcolm absolutely playing amazing. He has been on fire. Young kid. This is his second year, maybe his first year, but yeah, he's young. And I tell you, this Panther City team and the Vegas team, they are not playing like new expansion teams. In Vegas, they got to it a little sooner than Panther City did, but
Well,
yeah,
Panther City's on year 2.
yeah,
Oh, sorry about that. Panther City's on year 2, and the crowd. It's a matter of getting a fan base, getting some loyal fans like the Firewolves got. You got the Beecher behind. I could hear you in the doggy. I could hear it. I was listening. I'm like, there's Beecher. My wife's laughing at me, and I'm like, it's just one of those things I do.
Oh yeah. No, I get a kick out of it too. By the end of it, we yeah, everybody can hear us. Yeah, they are crazy good for expansion teams. Owen's writing in the comments. Owen is yeah, especially for you, Owen. That's got to be awesome. Them being on the West Coast, they're in your league now. Now you guys get 4 teams, and I mean we'll get into the standings here in a second. But yeah, you see they pulled Bouquet at the end of that game and put in Penny, and he gave up 3 goals with only 2 saves. So you're kind of looking at it like. I know Bouquet wasn't playing good towards
Yeah,
the
goalie
end,
can only do so much.
but maybe yeah, they just need to. I don't know, Saskatchewan. You live and die by your goalie in this league. There's no other way to put it. If your goalie's on fire, guess what? You look like an amazing team in the NLL. If your goalie's not playing good, you look like the bottom of the barrel.
Right, right.
You look like a bad night after too many bag squares.
There, you got too many cross checks to you, and you know it.
That's right. You got a few too many cross checks in you, and now you look like the New York Riptide have a couple times. But I tell you, this New York Riptide team is something else because you watch them, and they've got some amazing offense, and sometimes Orleman plays out of his mind, and then other times you're like, what is going on down in New York?
They were everything seems to want to go through Teat, and if you're a one man band and the one man band his string is broken, he's out of tune. It just
Even
doesn't work as well.
even if though, so I mean, how many lacrosse games have you watched that are 6-goal games? Even a great defensive yeah, I'm laughing at the comment section with the goaltending is key, and then Ben there. So we've all seen that show. But I think he's
Right.
talking about too many cross checks. But when you look at the West now with those, with their, they got a 3-way tie pretty much in first place. I mean, if you look at it technically with the winning percentage, you got a couple games because San Diego's got a couple games that they've still got to make up. So when you look, they're 7-2, but Calgary right there at the top, Panther City right there now holding place with them, Saskatchewan. But Saskatchewan, Colorado, and Vegas are all right there within one game, whereas we have Albany, New York, and Georgia kind of hovering at the bottom with the 2-goal games. But Vancouver's even been playing better. Vancouver, ever since they've added Sean Evans and Mitch Jones, they both, wow, did that work out for everybody?
Yep. Yep.
It's kind of crazy to see it, but I tell you, I think Colorado is starting to turn it on. Dylan Ward looked more like the Dylan Ward of old lately, so now we might be moving somewhere. But they've got a little bit of ground to make up.
And time is ticking.
It is.
Time is ticking. April is right around the corner.
Well, we are already at week 15, and I believe there's only 22 weeks in the season. So, we're over the halfway point now. Definitely going, might be 24, but either way, we're way over the halfway point now, we're going to say. And
Yeah.
so, this Buffalo Halifax game, as far as the standings go, that is a huge game. Not so much for Buffalo. They could drop one or two, maybe, but Halifax, with the way Philadelphia has been playing, has got to start getting some wins here.
In Buffalo, it ain't happening.
They've had a tough break, man.
Uh,
Playing Buffalo a couple
uh,
times, and now here we go.
you're going back into Buffalo. It ain't happening.
Yeah,
Bandit Land's gonna be
Bandit Land's a different.
ramped up.
It's a
Yeah,
different environment altogether. When you look at what Bandit Land is, though, I mean that's just it's a madhouse. Those people do it right. Anybody ever wants to see how to properly run a box lacrosse game, get yourself out to Bandit Land. Those guys, but not just the like the team, the fans. They are all on page
man.
there. They all know what they're cheering for. That is an impressive feat. You want to talk about the fans being an integral part? It's back and forth
The
years.
interaction with the announcer and the way the fans they're in it's theater.
Yeah,
Honestly, it is. It's a
it's a
theater, and
production, and they do a great job. They know what they're doing,
they
and that's
do it.
from years. It's like everything else we talk about. The only way to really get good at something is just to keep doing it. Buffalo's had a
Keep doing it.
team since the beginning. Those fans have always done the right thing, showing up, supporting that team. The team rewards them by putting a great product on the floor, and that's what you get when you go there. Is you get a top-notch show. But on the West
Yeah.
Coast, Calgary, Colorado. This is a huge game for the West because Colorado's on their way out, and now Calgary's got to prove. Yes, Buffalo does have. Josh, we didn't see you at the Firewolves game. I'm hoping you're okay. I missed him. I see him in the comment section now. I looked for him. He wasn't there. But
Big
anyways,
guy down along the wall there.
yeah, the
The
big
big
kid
guy.
that down at the party zone.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I tried to do the step, sit down when he went to the box, but I'm not as good at it as you are, Josh. So it definitely. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "He's not here. I got to do it." But
I got to keep the
I
tradition
gotta
going.
try. So, anyways, back to Calgary, Colorado. Calgary's going to have a chance to prove that they do belong at the top of this, but Colorado's in that position where they got to start winning games or a few games out. I mean, that's a huge game for the West. I think it's a bigger game than the San Diego game in the West. I think it's the biggest game for the Western Conference this week. Any thoughts on the West?
Not I. I don't watch other than watching my desert dogs.
Yes. Well, we will get to them in a minute. They got a big game coming up, but Albany, Toronto. I obviously hope that Albany can start going on a rally here. I think they got.
What happens? What happens if they do smack them?
I
What if Albany goes up there into Toronto and says, "You want to what? Bam! How you like us now?"
yeah.
They
Well,
that puts a huge ripple. Who's going to get number two? Who
yeah.
wants number two?
But this is where I see. Yeah, that stinks. Josh got called into work out of the emergency because we missed him down there and him sitting in the party zone banging on the glass. But Albany has the ability to, and if you look at that Toronto game last week, they did not have a ton of goals in either of their games. So when you're really looking as far as how that goes, Albany can. We saw them go to Buffalo in the opener this year and beat Buffalo. Albany can do it. It's not a matter of that. It's just if they can put all the pieces together at the same time. We either seem to have Dougie playing great, or the defense playing great, or the offense is finally starting to score goals. They got to just kind of merge it all together. It's starting to come together.
Coach Clark had said when we was talking, the team's he was on the bench when he was talking. As far as I was watching replays, they got to finish. You got to finish. And you want to know what happened at the end of that game? Kelly finished. Thompson finished. They were finishing and getting that Lucy quick. You got to put it all on the field. You want to know what? It's right now you're almost working on for the Albany. You're looking at next year. You want to make a roster next year, don't you?
Well, you want to make a roster next year. You got a lot of young pieces that, like you said, you got a lot of guys still trying to learn box lacrosse too. They've got a lot of American field players. Yeah, it's gonna come. New York, Philadelphia. It'd be awesome if New York could maybe beat Philadelphia for us and kind of hold them back. We don't want Philadelphia running away from the bottom. We got to keep
No.
this competitive with the us bottom barrel teams.
Break some chops.
Yeah, yeah. San Diego, Saskatchewan. The way San Diego's been playing, I don't know if but Saskatchewan has got a lot of firepower, and San Diego has always had a questionable goalie this year. Shigliero and or Allegri, both the two goalies for San Diego. Shigliano and Frank Allegri. Oh my goodness, I'm getting all tongue twisted. Never mind. But anyways, they have not been consistently great, and Saskatchewan's offense could definitely run away with this. They have the ability to score close to 20 points. I don't think that'll be an issue. But like you're talking, what you want to see is this Vegas Vancouver game, because if Vancouver, they have been playing good, they're starting to come around. This could be a problem for Vegas. Vegas lost their last game against San Diego in a very close game that I'm sure they felt they could have won because they were, leading at points in the game, and it was a very, very, very competitive game, so I would expect Vegas to come out on fire. And then we've got Rochester, Georgia. And right now, Georgia is showing that they could. I would love to see them knock Rochester off. And let's throw this East all out of whack and let's get
Throw it
Halifax.
all out.
Yeah, it'd be even better for me if Halifax could go put a whooping on your Bandits, but I don't. I don't think you want to see that, and I'm not sure that could happen.
Hold on. Hey, Coach Leary, you're live. You're live on Yeti Talks.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got
Listen,
Coach Bob
well,
Leary,
Bobby, I'm
the
going to call you
Herkimer,
Herkimer alum.
Herkimeter.
Herkimeter is going live on Yeti Talks as we speak, Bobo.
Yes.
Good,
But
man. They should. Guess what? We're better off than anyone thinks.
So you definitely have some tools to work with, Bobby. There's no question.
Let's get it done.
You, I know you are. That's why I'm excited. I'm excited. Let me call you back in a little while.
Love you, brother.
Talk to you soon. Peace.
so actually though, like speaking of Bob Leary, so they just played Onondaga tonight, correct?
OCC, yes.
So Onondaga Community College, if anybody doesn't know, chances are if you're listening to this, you do know. But what you might not know is that they have a huge amount of players in the NLL. I bet you there's probably, if you were to go through the community college, the upstate, mainly Western New York community college circuit, is probably better represented than any major college in the
Absolutely.
yeah, you've got a lot of OCC kids. You got a bunch of Herc alums out there. You got it's pretty impressive. Maybe Georgia just
Well,
needs to get in the right game. Yes.
A shout out to a Herc alum while we're doing it there. I seen today Team USA for the World Games. Reggie Thorpe was announced as the head coach for the men. So he's a Herc alum. And congratulations to Reggie and the rest of the coaching staff.
Yes,
I'm sure they have something special.
Kieran McCardle is going to be a part of that as well. He's a firewolf.
Yep.
But so
Yeah.
I've got some of the stats pulled up here. We're going to look at the goal scores. It is funny. So Jeff Teat, you look at that team. He is. I mean, how different are all these teams when you look across the top? So what you see for the goals is he is way ahead of everybody else right now. He's got what 12 more
88
goals. Yeah, he's got 12 more goals than Dane Smith, but Dane Smith is only 2 points behind him because Dane has a much different offensive talent around him. Plus, Dane Smith is a much I don't know. He's a much more seasoned NLL player. He's got that vision, the way he sees the plays. Jeff Teat will get there eventually. I don't think he's there yet. I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. Tom Schreiber, we talked about him a couple times tonight. He has been moving the ball around really well. But when you talk about that, and then you look how far away he is from Dane Smith, and you're like, oh wow, that's the difference between that's what a real team leader is. Yes, you don't just have the goals. You've also got the assist. He's got to be close on the assist lead. Yeah, he's number 1 in assist. I thought so. Yeah, so he's number 1 in assist, which is as a captain, and when you're looking at the second place for the goals, okay.
Yeah. Well, they're projected, what they say, 140 some points projection.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah. Oh wait, so I that wasn't ranked by goals before when I looked at it. So yeah, Dane Smith is 7th in goals. Okay, so it goes Jeff Teat, Tom Schreiber, Connor Fields, Dane Doby, Will Malcolm, Corey Smalls, and then Dane Smith, and then it's a tie. Dane's actually in a three-way tie, but like I said, when you look at that top three and you see that those teams rely so much on those guys that you saw when Schreiber only had one goal. What happened to Toronto?
Same with T.
Right. But
Same with
even
T.
even if Teat has 4 or 5, Teat can get a sock trick every night. Unless more guys on that New York team start scoring, it's not going to matter. I mean, you're only going to do so much as one player. You got to have a better. I think Will Malcolm is really the hidden gem. I mean, Panther City, props on picking that kid. His brother Tony was a Firewolf last year, phenomenal transition player. He's doing quite well down there too. So I mean, as far as having the brothers together, yeah, huge props to Panther City picking up Will Malcolm. That was a great pick, and the way that offense has been playing with him. Keegan Ball, you see, he's really turning it on for Vancouver. I love watching him. He is a ferocious player. Joe Restateris has finally turned it on. He had a little bit of a sluggish start at the beginning, but it's kind of funny when you look at him and Lyle Thompson were the 1 and 2 last year, and now they're down to 11th, and it's a pretty far drop off. They're 15 points behind Jeff Teat for the most part.
How many more years do they got left in them? Think of the battles that those guys have played over the years. Golly, that's a lot of jamming.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like Owen said there's no I in team, so I'm actually curious as to see where is the first roughneck, because so Jesse King. But my favorite part of watching those Calgary games now with Owen is that they hardly ever get a guy who gets 4 goals a game. They'll have a few. They've had a couple games. Courier's done it, but they spread out their offense so well. That's one big thing. Is like if so and so has a bad night, it doesn't matter because they have that next guy in line mentality. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
OJ knew it already in the chat. He said, "Yeah, it's King." As soon as I asked, before we even scrolled down. But yeah, Dan Craig was looking good for Toronto. But look at all the wings you've got right there. And
Yep.
this is what I mean is when you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 of them?
Yeah, so 4 in the top 20. They are probably the best represented team, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Maybe.
you don't see on that's a big drop off. How much is How many points has Jammer got? Where's he ranking?
Oh yeah, we can.
He's not even Halifax. He's not even top 20.
So right now
Halifax.
he's got 42 points total. He's got oh, I gotta scroll down a little bit so you can see it. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see the screen over there. I'm gonna pick this up a little bit more. All right, so yeah, when you look at Cody Jamieson, he is definitely fallen way back. Dougie Jamison's got 2 assists though. How about Dougie? But yeah, no, Cody has been playing good. Me and Rodney talked about this a bit. He looks younger and faster, and he's got it seems like more assists this year. Not quite as many goals, but they when they brought in Benesh and they brought in the rest of that stats. So they've really upgraded their firepower with stats and Bushi. I bet you they got to be pretty well represented on this next page. Fennell, though, is playing good. He's in the top. Yeah, that's so yeah, Benesh is the first Firebird, I think. Then you got Stotts, Fennell.
24.
Yeah. Tanner Cook is down there for Calgary. But look at how well Calgary's represented on this page so far. We got 1, 2. Yeah.
Nanitoke's got 19 goals, 16 assists.
Ryan Smith is going to be one of those players, I tell you. You give that kid a couple of years, he is a monster. He is so much bigger than he looks out there on TV, and
Yeah.
he's fast, strong. He's got those soft hands. That is such a big thing. Yeah, it is weird to see Lyle a little low on this list, but I think a lot of seeing Lyle low on that list was just a factor to the way that Georgia's offense was playing at the beginning of the year. They were not playing, they were not playing as a team. They had some issues that they kind of worked out. Must be, however they figured it out. I don't know if somebody was hurt. I honestly don't pay a ton of attention to Georgia other than trying to watch Lyle because, well, he's Lyle. But yeah.
Lyle. He does some crazy stuff, some incredible stuff. I just wonder curiously, you take a look at the longevity of these guys. He's got to be Schreiber. How many years is Schreiber? Schreiber's got to be damn near 20, 15, 20 years in the league.
I don't know. I'll have to check that out.
I mean, it's incredible to see how these guys can, and you're not talking the off-season tournaments that they're going and playing too. It's tremendous for these guys. Hats off to all of them that can go out and do what they do. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty impressive to see how they can maintain it. But the NLL website's being a little glitchy and slow. I can see now. So bear with us here. I was curious to see the goals for and goals against. So like when you look at Toronto, they've got, I think they're leading the East right now. Oh no, Halifax is. So how funny is that? So Halifax, who didn't have a ton of guys on there, has the most goals so far this season.
No.
Yeah.
Not what you're. Is that what that says?
Yeah. So goals for, goals against. So 147 goals for, 133 goals against. So yeah. And then the next closest is actually Panther City with 146. And that is something that is really surprising when you consider Panther City being a second-year team. And when you really think about Panther City, who do you think of as their main goal scorer? Like you don't, I don't anyways. You've got Will Malcolm, but the only reason I really even know that is just because I happen to be a big Panther City fan. I watched a bunch of their games last year, and then this year I kind of just stuck with them. And when they traded Tony Malcolm from the Firewolves to there, I was like, and then I found out it was his brother, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But when you look at, I think Calgary has the lowest goals against average, though. Yes, they do. So that's a huge thing. Is I think that's what determines how far you're going to make it into the playoffs. But look at Colorado; they're negative, 98 to 119. Ooh, it's been a rough start for them. Vegas, at least Vegas has got the excuse that they got blown out a couple times early in the season when they were trying to figure some things out.
Beecher, scroll that up a little bit, or scroll it down a little bit so that we can see the West.
Oh, sorry. There we go. So
I'm watching both my computer and your and the big screen.
I got a lot of stuff going on.
I can see the big screen. My computer, I got my readers on, and I can't see shit.
Yeah, but so when you look at Colorado, like I said, they only have 98 goals this year. That's a low number. I tell you, Zed Williams seemed to fire up. I think he had a hat trick in the last game, so hopefully they're obviously, hoping that he's going to get it together. But yeah, that's a very big number.
That's a huge number. That's a huge number.
Yeah, and then when you look at the total goals against, you're looking at Vancouver, who has had some questionable goalie play, which seems to have kind of worked itself out a little bit. And the Riptide, again, same thing. Orleman has played phenomenal, and then other games, it's just kind of like, but how much of it is his fault? Because when you see some of these defensive games, then they've even switched him out a couple times. New York's defense has just kind of flopped a couple times. And you look at Toronto set the record against them in the NLL with 22 goals. Philadelphia last week had 19 goals against them. New York has really struggled offensively. Defensively is they're, and when you look at their goals for, they're not that far behind the top of the East, and they're over the number one team in the West. It's just so funny how that works out.
Yeah. Numbers.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of checking out the I love the goals for, goals against. As a defenseman growing up as a hockey player, and that was my plus minus was my stat. That was like
That's the major stat.
that's it. That's the only stat I cared about really as a defenseman is my plus minus. If I was minus for a game, I was not happy. It got a little tough. I'll have to say my first lacrosse season in MB, I had to get over my plus minus being quite so bad. But we worked on it as we got through the season.
How do they work that with box lacrosse for the fact that you're not running in hockey, you got a defenseman that's up playing the wing, where on box lacrosse, you're usually pulling your defensive player off. So, you don't get a plus minus. Is it a per shift, a plus per shift, a minus per shift? How does that work for box lacrosse? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I don't know because I have not seen a plus minus stat in the
Or
NLL.
do they not keep it because you can't technically do a plus minus because you're coming off, on an offensive set, you're coming off if you're a defenseman. You're not running unless you're a trainee and, or you're a defenseman and you take it all the way down, shoot and score. That's a plus, I guess. You get 2 pluses.
Yeah, no, yeah, should be. It's a stat that I have not seen much of, but I just realized we've been doing this for 55 minutes and we never got to any of your commercials. So we have to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back, everybody.
Great fittings for all your underground utility, plumbing, HVAC, cements, solvents, irrigation, valve boxes.
My happy.
All your plumbing needs. Plumbing, irrigation, HVAC.
Fay Farms, where the beef's at. Believe in 271. Nobody fights alone. You got a sweet tooth? Contact Nora's Candy. Black River Ale House. Go where the Romans go. Do what the Romans do. When in Rome, go to the Black River Ale House. Rome Sign and Display Company. Contact Terry down at Rome Sign. Nice Scoba, the men and women in blue. Thank you for what you do. George Kaler, sales and service. B-Dry Systems. Basements are wet? Contact B-Dry. Contact Russ down at Family Landscaping. Spring is near. Deming Lakeside Trailer Park. Eric Kiefer, LUTCF. Friend of the Yeti. Tri-City Lacrosse. MEM Photography. Mark Murphy. You need the shot? Contact Mark. Bag Square Brewing Company. A authentic German brewery with authentic German food. Stop down to Bag Square when you're in downtown Utica. Robert Dix Insurance Agency. Contact Bobby Dix for all your insurance needs. Clinton Tractor and Implement Company. CBI Cables. Plug in what the pros use. CBI Cables. Plug them in. Crafty Beach for all your personalized merchandise.
Thank you, everybody, and support your local sponsors any chance you get. They are what makes this show happen. They are what help the Utica Yeti be the professional experience that it is. And I tell you, that is one huge thing that was said over and over and over again, Paul Necker, is that you had so many players prepared for the PBLA that was and wasn't and was again. So that is a big thanks from a lot of guys. They were like, it was just another night, just like playing for the Yeti. You come out, they yell your name. It's like, yeah, we charge it. And if anybody who's watching this does not know, we will be streaming live the Yeti game, so you don't have to worry about watching the best box lacrosse action all summer long on the Utica Yeti YouTube channel.
On Utica, and home games will be played at the Utica University Nexus Center, downtown Utica, New York. Excited. I got, once again, there's more good things working. I'm keeping fingers crossed. Tomorrow, big day, and big things in the works.
Big things in the work this weekend.
If
you can get anywhere near Marcy, or if you are anywhere near Marcy, they've got the parade in Utica, and then they're going to 12 North Sports Bar. And hang on, I'm going to hide you for a second, Paul, because we need to say the mighty X Squatch Games, or the Squatch Games as they have been lovingly referred to, but it's the first inaugural, and we had Shelly on. She is amazing. if you go, you're going to have a blast. She promises that she can get you hitting the target with their trained coaches within one session of being there. So go check it out. It's a great fundraiser to help the Yeti Lacrosse Club. It's going to be a great time. Who doesn't want a parade? You'll see all your Yetis. Big thanks to Be Dry Systems with donating the trailers and the vehicles to pull the trailers. Is that correct?
That is correct. Brandon Davis. We want to say thank you very much to the Davis family. Huge sponsor for the Utica Yeti. Be Dry behind me, or Beg Square behind me. As far as sponsorship, we can't say enough thank yous, because it's what makes the wheels continue for these lacrosse players that are doing what they do on the lacrosse fields. If you can, just with the X-Squatch games, please do me a favor, get to go to their website and hit fun under the fundraiser, get signed up. We had a couple people signed up. We got to get more. I know a lot of guys that are saying they're going to the parade and walking in the parade. They're going to be playing in them. Anybody that's out there and you're interested, there's a waiver that's got to be signed. It's simple. Go on there, click, and it's signing a waiver. I like how you got your face with the
you like that?
If you turn your head just a little bit, because your nose would match with the nose of the Yeti.
Oh, my chair's picking it
up. There you go. You're almost there.
I almost had it.
There. Oh, the chair got in the way.
Yeah,
but,
stupid chair.
As far as that's the number one thing is you want to get out and support the our down to Bag Square. Get yourself an awesome cheeseburger. They got incredible cheeseburgers, incredible fries, and have yourself as far as if you like Bloody Marys, they got incredible Bloody Marys before the parade. Get out to the parade. Watch for cross check. He's going to be up in we can't toss out anything and everything the way we used to as kids when we was at parades, but we'll definitely be doing some pictures with everybody. And if you happen to have Jello shots, okay, we'll do them too. But anyhow, we won't
absolutely.
Go there. We can't do that. It's in the rules. We can't drink during the parade. So
okay.
We'll be consuming.
Yes. Well, the NLL website went down, and that has completely thrown me for a loop, because that is usually where I base all of my stuff from. So I'm not sure what happened with that, and now it's back up on my phone. So maybe it's back. It's
Big Brother. Big Brother's on you, dude.
Big Brother's on us. I think it's just all the bandwidth we're sucking, because now we've got a couple of people who like to jump in the chats. Thank you very much to everybody who logs on and watches the show. Without you, we'd just be talking to ourselves, which we would probably do anyways. But
we do it frequently. But you want to know what? It's great to see the banter from the other people that are out there. If you got questions, definitely throw them up there. You got answers, definitely throw them. You got a joke of the day, throw a joke of the day up there. That's what it's all about. As far as getting out there, all of us communicating with each other, supporting each other. We all have different hobbies, and you want to know what? This is what it's all about. Greg, you're doing an incredible job. I can't wish you nothing but utmost more success, because this is good stuff. This is awesome stuff. I love it.
I'm loving it. It's been an absolute blast. But we do try to keep the show to only an hour, even though we seem to struggle with that somehow. But all right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I'll let you do the final sign off, Paul.
Hey, Yeti Nation, thank you for everything you all done so far. Keep it going. 2023. We're thirsty. We want a championship. We need you guys down there supporting us. Get out to the local sponsors and look for us at the parade.